Problem 1 of the practice exam. Create a new script file named fueltank.m. In your script file, perform the following calculations. Prompt means I'm going to use input. And prompt the user to enter in the radius of a half cylinder in inches. Create a height vector with 20 values from 0 to the user-defined radius. So vector with 20 values indicates lens space. Use the length of 36, so that's a scalar value. Calculate the volume of the tank for each height value using the equation below. So I need to calculate that equation. Display your results in table format. So here means I'm going to use disp or fprintf, whichever one. Doesn't tell me which one to use, so I can go ahead and choose myself. And then save your results in a text file named results.txt. So this means I'm going to use a save function. TXT means it needs to be ASCII. So I've made some notes. I've read through the problem. Let me go ahead and start typing it up. New script file. Save as fuel tank.m. Add in some comments at the top if you want. Problem 1, whatever you want it to look like. You're not necessarily graded on comments unless it explicitly tells you to insert comments, so don't worry about it unless you're told to insert comments. Okay, so prompt the user to enter in a radius. So radius equals input, or R equals input. Radius of half cylinder. Once again, it doesn't tell you the prompt, which means you can choose your own. Okay. And then height equals a vector, so lens space of 0 to the user-defined radius, which is R, with 20 values. L is 36. Calculate the volume of the tank. So V, whatever you want to call it. If it doesn't tell you what to name your variables, don't worry about it. Name it whatever you want. V equals L divided by 231 times R squared times cos inverse. So I don't know off the top of my head what the cos inverse function is, so I can go ahead, I can do help cos. A cos is inverse cosine. Okay, so you can use the documentation, you can use help, however you want to do it. You can search for inverse cosine function, and then R minus H, whatever I named them, divided by R minus R minus H times square root . Okay, I think that's my equation. Anytime you do an equation, stop and think. Okay, are these scalars? Are these vectors? Are these arrays? Do I want to do, if they're vectors, if they're scalars, you're fine. If they're vectors or they're arrays or matrices, you have to stop and think, do I want to do matrix math or do I want to do element by element math? This is a vector, I want to do element by element. So I'm going to put a period in front of every asterisk, division sign, and caret. Some of them aren't needed, but you're not penalized for having too many. And this one technically isn't needed because L is a scalar. This is technically not needed because this will be a scalar. This one is needed. This one is needed because R, no, never mind. This one's not needed. R is not the vector. Not needed because I'm multiplying by a scalar. This one's needed because H is my vector. Put that one there. This one is needed because I have a vector here and I have a vector here. And that one's not needed, that one's not needed, this one is needed. I've done my calculation. Display your results in a table format. I'm gonna go ahead and run my code, see if there's any errors. I don't know, to the radius of 20, whatever it is. If I go into my workspace, I can see if everything calculated appropriately. So H is a 1 by 20, V is a 1 by 20, I'm doing great. I need to go ahead and display my results in a table. I have two options. I can use display or fprintf. If I'm doing display, I'm going to just go ahead and print out my header. So I'm going to print out my height values. I think those are in inches. And then my volume. And I don't know my units for volume, so forget it. Then I'm going to use format short G. Then I'll display my data is going to be collected into one array where the first column is the height and the second column is volume. So H transpose next to V transpose. And then I can go ahead and see if everything lines up. Okay, I did pretty well at lining things up, not too bad. If you're running out of time, don't worry about it. But I can go ahead and I can adjust and change as needed. So there we go. My table looks great. I can go ahead and use fprintf as well. So fprintf is very similar. Not cool. A little bit. It's similar-ish. So fprintf, print out my header, height in inches, volume, \n. Now I can do fprintf. How wide do I want my first column to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. So I do %13, and then how many ever digits past the decimal point? Let's say I want them all to be 3. And then an F. And then however wide I want my second column to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I want it to be 10. And then another 3 digits past the decimal point. F \n. And then I'm going to gather my data into one array where the height is the first row and volume is the second row. So here we go. Here it is. Here it is printed out with disp. Here it is printed out with fprintf. Here's what it looks like in code for display. This is what it looks like in code for fprintf. Either one. If you're not told which one to use whichever one you want. And then save your results in a text file named fuel tank results. So my results are H, L, R, and V. Those are all my variables. Save them. It's not explicitly stating what to save. It is a text file, so it needs to be one array. So it will be more explicit on your exam questions. These are just roughly put together, not fully vetted. But when it says save your result in a text file named fueltankresults.txt, you're going to use save. What is the name of your file? So fuel tank results.txt. It needs to be ASCII. This .txt means it goes with the ASCII option. And then what variable you want to save. So when it's a txt file, it's one variable. I'm going to go ahead and save my H and V variable that's transposed. So I'll save data. So now I can see in my current folder, I have my fuel tank results, and I can open up and I can see it's in 2 columns. The first one is my heights, the second one is my radius, my volume. I have no control over whether or not it's printing out in scientific information. That is the default. I have no control over that. But I can see that it's saved appropriately. If you forgot the ASCII option, it would be that gobbledygook, so make sure you have the ASCII option. And that's problem 1.